Bigfoot Collectors Club presents
Wet Hot Alien Summer 3 Saucerama.
Saucerama.
I thought I saw a flying saucer.
Saucerama!
Flying saucers.
Saucerama.
Beep beep boop boop.
Wait, that's one classic saucer.
Saucerama. You do the horse math. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Bigfoot Collectors Club, the show where we talk to amazing guests about their personal paranormal history and share stories of high strangeness. It's Wet Hot Alien Summer 3 Saucerama. All summer long, baby. We're looking back in the to the classic era of UFOs and flying saucers, and we can't wait to talk to this week's guest. He joins us every summer, whether it's a wet, hot alien summer or not. Before we bring him in, let me introduce you to myself. I'm Michael McMillan, your host. With me always is your other host,
Bryce Johnson.
And our ultra-terrestrial producer,
Riley Bray.
I almost skipped right over us, guys. That's how excited I am to get
pumped.
into it.
I'm ready. It's like seeing your friend from summer camp.
It is, isn't it?
Back in UFO summer camp. Top bunk.
Well, let's not make him just nod along for too long. I want to remind everyone that we do have our Saucerama shirts and stickers on sale on the TeePublic shop. So check out the link in our show notes or over at our Instagram at Bigfoot Collectors Club up in the link tree there. That's about it. Riley, what do you got? We got
a review if you want to do one up top.
Yeah, let's nominate our 5-star Club Scout of the Week.
Review.
This is a friend who has dropped us 5 stars over on Apple Podcasts. It still helps us get the show to new listeners. Riley, take it away.
Well, this one's from Bigfoot Structures. It's quite a username. I put this podcast on when I need a laugh. This podcast gives me that same great feeling that you get from watching the Golden Girls or Friends.
Yeah.
The friendship between them is the true fabric of the show, not the high strangeness. My favorite part is when they do all the different voices for the different characters in the stories.
Second week in a row.
No way, really? Oh, man.
Best episode,
surprise.
hands down, is the Roswell lowdown.
Oh,
if you
man.
need to educate yourself or someone else, have them listen to that. 5 stars.
Wow. Pennsylvania
cool.
Bigfoot Structures, we thank thee and we salute
Who knew
you.
that?
Salute.
Dude, I just broke my Golden Girl coffee, my daughter's Golden Girl coffee mug
boy.
today.
Oh, boy.
Is synchronicity there. Thanks for that review. You're right. We are like the Golden Girls.
In Bryce's house, you know,
High
like in
strangeness.
most people's houses, it's like a kid will break their dad's coffee mug, but in Bryce's house, the dad breaks the kid's coffee mug.
Whoopsies. Love that review. Send some more our way. You know where to put them.
That's
Love
right.
it.
We might read it on the air, and you get to hear it through Riley's sultry tones. Okay, let's bring in our guest. They are a UFO researcher, a TV personality, a podcaster, an author, and so much more. From somewhere in the skies, please welcome back Mr. Ryan Sprague. Ryan!
What's up, guys? This is my favorite time of year. I feel
Yes.
like we were saying off
You're
air, it's
sweet.
like going to summer camp and seeing the friends that you only see, a couple times a year. And
Yeah.
Love that.
and we
Always
get to
look forward
gossip
to
about
it.
everything that's happened in our own personal lives and,
I know.
and in the UFO world. So thank you. Thank you so
Well,
much.
we're
thank
always so
you.
excited to have you guys on. Somewhere in the skies is like the much more professional and much more serious version
you
of
like
this
writing
podcast.
books.
Yeah.
It's still fun. Don't get me wrong, but he writes books and he has way smarter guests than the three of us hosting the show. You should definitely check it out.
Yes.
Ryan, how are you? You're working on a few different projects, including a new podcast, aren't you?
Yes. So, when I'm not UFOing, I was so into professional wrestling when I was a kid. Like
No.
peak
Oh my
Attitude
gosh.
Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock,
Great.
Undertaker. And then I kind of grew out of it, like a lot of things in life. And
Growing out of it. What's that mean? I don't know.
I don't. Actually, I'm looking at your bookshelf, Michael, and I'm kind of it just kind of went away for a while, and then when Peacock started and put all of wrestling on there, dropped everything back from like the early 80s up until now. Every
Wow.
pay-per-view, every Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, WCW, you name it, it was on there, and I got hooked back in. And talking to a buddy of mine, Andrew Sanford, he's a screenwriter and comedian, and we went to see Monday Night Raw in Albany, New
so
York.
good.
Of all places, yeah. And after the show, we were on such a high. We were like, we talk wrestling all the time, and then we did what every typical white person does after a conversation. We were like, let's start a podcast.
Yeah, let's record this. We need other people to hear how brilliant we are.
Exactly. Because our opinions matter so much to the WWE.
I loved wrestling. It's so nostalgic too. Like I was the generation before. It was like Hulk Hogan and Iron Sheik, and oh my god, I just loved it. It's such a feeling. I saw Hulk Hogan on a little internet thing. He's like, "It may be predetermined, brother, but every second in thereof is real, brother." And you're like, it's so. You're like, and you're right. These guys are putting it out there on the line.
They really are. Yeah.
Ryan, what's the name of your new podcast then?
Well, I'm keeping it in the Somewhere universe. I'm calling it now. So it's called Somewhere in the Ring. So
I love it.
All right. Well, wrestling fans, you know where to go.
Large of a space to look for something, but
right.
makes it easier for everybody.
Same type of personalities, though.
I'm curious, true. Ryan, and not to put you on the spot, and there may be the answer to this may be no, but someone who like generally has a very general knowledge of professional wrestling, was there ever like any UFO or alien themed professional wrestler?
Question.
Was there any like cryptid crossover? I mean, I know like Monster Trucks had Bigfoot. Was there ever like someone who's like the Prober or like
that was the first monster truck Bigfoot, by the way.
Yeah.
Was it really the first
one? It was. Yeah,
I didn't know
72, I think. Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense.
We should do an episode over on the other side about Bigfoot, the truck, the monster.
Yeah, there's a crossover there, Ryan. I feel it.
It's good.
It's there. It's there. I'm racking my brain. There was one character who was, how you had Andre the Giant and these bigger than life guys who come around every once in a grand while that are like 7 feet tall, 300 pounds. And I remember there was one giant wrestler who they put in a Yeti costume. And I believe he was actually called the Yeti.
No.
It lasted for about a week, but they tried.
He's like, I can't breathe in this thing.
Yeah. He's like, this spandex is too constrictive. So
I'm finding something on a quick Googs from Slam Wrestling, Wrestlers versus Aliens, the main event in the Unbreakable Bunch. I don't know if this rings any bells, but
oh man,
it doesn't. But I'm gonna have to cover it now. So
I bet you there were professional wrestlers who played aliens in movies. Like
there
the Predator, or some big like.
Oh,
beefy,
Dave Bautista, Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
Well, that's true. That counts. That does count.
Wasn't Ventura in Predator too? Jesse Ventura.
Yeah,
he was.
I ain't got time to bleed, brother.
Yep.
So
it's
good.
There. But you got to do.
Good.
You should have us on. We'll do like a crossover, like all the times professional wrestlers and aliens crossed over. We'll figure it out.
I'm holding you to that. Absolutely.
Okay, we'll do it. So Ryan, what's going on? We usually like to take your temperature and ask what's going on in the world of the of UFOs or UAPs. I feel like, and the guys and I talked about this recently. Compared to last year, things seem now. By the time that this episode comes out, who knows? But things feel a little bit quieter than they've been lately.
It's so funny you mention that because I have sort of been out of the UFO thing since I started the wrestling podcast. And I don't know about you guys, but I get burnout, and everyone goes through it. Yeah, man. So I needed a little break. So I'm not totally up to speed on like the intricacies of everything, but while it's been a quiet year, the sort of droplets that we have been pretty interesting. There are quite a few developments that I'm happy to share with you guys. But yes, overall, we haven't gotten these huge drops like it seemed we were getting last year with David Grush and all that sort of stuff. But this topic, you guys know, everything is done in the shadows, and a lot of it is just, done very, very low key. So And then, boom, we get hit with some New York Times article or some new special on 60 Minutes where they uncover something brand new. And I'm excited for what's to come at the end of this year and moving into 2025, but plenty to talk about for sure.
Okay. Yeah. Well, why don't we get started? We already know your personal paranormal history. Go back and listen to Ryan's first episode if you don't. It involves a black triangle. That's all I'll say.
Killer.
Ryan, what do you got for us this week?
Well, the first one I wanted to bring up with you guys was there was a mandated by Congress, a mandated report that had to come out through the Department of Defense. And this was done through the efforts of Chuck Schumer and a bunch of other people in Congress who, yeah, good old Chuck. Yeah, seems to be one of us now. And in March of this year, the Pentagon and Department of Defense, they came out with a report that examined UFO sightings over the last century. So we're talking a historical report, not just like the most recent Navy UFO tic-tac, blah, blah, blah stuff, but going all the way back to 1945, just before the Roswell incident. So
awesome.
Yeah, so it was pretty good. This was all done through AARO, the this Department of Defense organization that has been set up to sort of look at UFOs, and they were mandated to come out with a historical report on UFO cases. So they went all the way back, like I said, to 45, and the big thing about it was, yes, they did a great job of sort of telling the public about all of these cases that have happened throughout the years, whether it's Roswell or, the Tehran UFO or Rendlesham or things all over the world historically. But the big thing at the end of the report that they said was, we have found no evidence that any of this is signs of alien life or that the U.S. government and private companies have reverse engineered ET technology and are hiding it. So there you go. But another volume of the report is going to focus on recent research, and that will be out later this year. So I'm excited about that.
Well, let's unpack that for a minute, because that to me could mean a couple things. Because my question was, as you were going through this, is are they still offering the explanations that they were giving back in the 1950s, where it's like, this is weather phenomenon or balloons or gas or Venus? Like, do you know if they gave any evidence of like what it is, what it might be?
Yes, they did, which was really interesting. There were several cases in the report where they did come up with conventional explanations and stood by it. Not, this could have been this, it might have been that. They said, no, this is what it was, But I have issues with that because, I think it was in 1995, the Pentagon did a press conference and finally did their Roswell case closed, where they came out and said,
we solved it, guys.
Yeah, we got this. We got this.
It was a balloon.
It took a weekend, but we finally did it.
Exactly.
We just had to get around to it.
And the reporters at that press conference burned the guy who was giving giving the press briefing.
Was this the test dummies excuse? That this was like high altitude?
Project Mogul, test dummies, all that.
Dropping dummies from heights just to see what would happen.
Happens all the time, guys. Dummies are practically falling from the skies.
which I think what we said back when we covered Roswell, and by the way, Ryan, I mean, some of that credit goes to you. You were part of the Roswell. You came in and spoke to us during the Roswell 3-parter.
It was amazing.
What's fascinating to me about the dummy thing is, to me, that's a little bit of a giveaway to admit that there were, in fact, bodies at the crash. Because before that, it was just a balloon craft. Bodies were just a rumor. But if you have the government coming up with an excuse for what the bodies could have been and that they were dummies, that's them admitting that there were bodies, right?
Right.
Exactly. Sure. Why would you even bring it up? If you originally said there were no bodies involved in this quote unquote weather balloon or spy balloon crash. It was one of those situations of like the lady doth protest too much.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're seeing that in this new report that just came out too. It's almost like they're trying to cover their own asses when nobody is even asking them to do this. So,
I was gonna say this is just sort of dancing around the issue. Congress asked them to make this, and they're like, "Yeah, sure, we'll get it done for you. We'll make your little report." And and of course they're not gonna come forward with anything that's gonna blow the thing wide open because they don't have the evidence to put forward to do so. So they've just got to keep it tame and under the belt and sort of deliver this, magazine about the last 100 years of UFO incidents. And it's like bullshit, It's like whatever. We've seen that play before. We're not really interested,
Yeah, and we'll probably see it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So that was the first major story I think of this year.
Good stuff. I mean, I like that it's still in conversation. And when we talked about a few weeks ago, this law that they're trying to pass to disclose every UFO file by the end of the year, which we'll see what happens. By the way, I think I owe an apology to Steve Mnuchin for confusing him with Joe Manchin and calling oops. Oopsie, whatever. I don't know. But moving on. What's another bit of UFO news that you are excited about, Ryan?
I'm excited. So twice on my show and twice in real life, actually, I've had the opportunity to meet with Luis Elizondo, the guy who says that he worked at the Pentagon and worked on their UFO project, ATIP, and, sort of is one of the major reasons the UFOs went mainstream in the past, 8 years or so. And claimed to have worked on this project and that they were seeing things and finding things that just no one could readily explain. And it was all top secret and classified at one point. Well, finally, I think after like 4 or 5 years now, Luis Elizondo is coming out with a tell-all book about his experiences of working at the Pentagon on this program, what he discovered while in the program, and what he's discovered since he's left. And the book is coming out this August, so pretty soon. And it's going to be called Imminent Inside the Pentagon's Hunt for UFOs. So I'm really excited about that. It's by a major publisher. This had to go through the DOPSR process. So for any of your listeners who aren't familiar, that's when former government people, military, have to vet the book to make sure nothing in it is classified. And that can take months, up to like even a year sometimes to do all that. And from what I've been told, Bryce, what I've been told, this had to go through a shit ton of that. So finally in August, we're going to find out just exactly what Elizondo did there, and if any of this is true.
To read that.
I heard that if you pre-order the book now, it comes with a free stick-on soul patch.
Oh man, he is still rocking that proudly.
Hell yeah,
Guy Fieri all the way, man.
Yeah. He's leaning in.
Bryce, did you want to share the information that you told me before the show?
Oh, yeah, I got a little synchronicity. Speaking of Mr. Elizondo, I might be going to a private little disclosure event tomorrow evening somewhere on the Pacific Coast with Mr. Elizondo.
Oh, hell yeah, let's go.
Great minds are converging in California.
Right?
Please tell him I say hello.
I will for sure, and I'll report back.
Dude,
it's
awesome.
a little private discussion put on by the Romero Institute. An established institute, and so we're gonna hear some people talk about disclosure or whatever that means. So I'll just be sitting back and maybe I should dress like a Men in Black and just
freak everybody out.
Yeah,
pull a little Gray Barker on everyone.
Either way, I'm gonna be high
like
as hell. Like so, but
seems
only
appropriate.
Hobnobbing and rubbing shoulders with the elite of the UFO community.
Bryce, I will give you my share of next month's profits if you go dressed as a Men in Black.
We know you have the outfit, dude. Didn't you wear it at Contact in the Desert or something?
I do. Oh my God. So I'll report back. But you know what? I'm excited to hear and read what he has to say because, and I'm sure the listeners would agree, whenever you sort of read a book about somebody's account, you can get a pretty good sort of barometer if their testimony is true, if it makes sense, if it adds up, or if they're telling the truth. So I think a lot of people have been waiting for Mr. Elizondo's book. So
Yeah, very anticipated. I'm excited for that.
How much in question is it still whether or not he was actually involved in the ways that he said he was involved? Because I knew there was some blowback for a while where people are like, we don't even know if this guy was actually working in the departments that he says he was working in.
It's tough. So, you had someone like Senator Harry Reid, who basically was in charge of funding the Pentagon UFO program and getting other senators to get involved with that. He, under like sworn, signed oath, said that yes, Luis Elizondo ran the program. I personally hired him. He was fantastic. Blah blah blah. And then you turn around and you have the Department of Defense saying no. Elizondo never worked here. He never had any responsibilities within a UFO program. We don't know what he's talking about. So, the debate continues up until today. And I don't know, man. All I could say is what I've personally experienced with this man. And I was in London, actually, when I first met him. And we walked around, I forget where we were. We were somewhere around the Ministry of Defense building, actually. And just chatting it up. Not really even about UFOs. It was actually about life and getting to know one another. It was pretty cool. But a part of me was kind of like, remember, Ryan, this guy worked counterintelligence. He's probably just trying to get shit on you and this, that, or whatever. Yeah. But super nice guy. We talked a bunch. And then I'm not kidding. When we shook hands to leave, he said, oh, yeah, I have a meeting. And I watched him walk straight into the Ministry of Defense building. And the door was open. And you know how, like, there's security in the front and they probably check in everything? Yeah. Dude walked right past the security guy. They, like, basically nodded at him, and he just walked right in, no questions asked. And I left that meeting being like, what a power move.
It's like the old Lazar at Los Alamos, walking George Knapp through the halls of Los Alamos, going, here's where we do this, this is where we do that.
Exactly, man.
Like, what? How?
I know. I like left that being like, did he plan that? Like, was this all like
right?
Staged?
Totally. Who knows?
Perfectly orchestrated.
Knows?
Yeah.
So
trust nothing.
He did something. Yeah.
Believe everything.
Exactly.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we have more with Ryan Sprague. All right. Ryan, let's leave social encounters with people who give you a slight twinge of paranoia in London and move over to what's this news you found coming out of Japan?
Yeah, so I've been super into like Japan and UFOs recently. I've done a couple episodes on
We're
it. We're
kind of getting into it too.
Are
like
you?
We did the Kofu humanoids this year, and I'm like, there's a lot more fertile ground here to explore.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to go to Japan for the first time in my life about 4 months ago with my partner. She taught English over there for a while, so she's got a lot of connections and she speaks Japanese, so it made the trip very accessible, and I was able to do things that I think a lot of tourists wouldn't be able to do because of the language barrier. And I actually talked to a couple people while I was over there, and she like translated for me UFO encounters that just everyday people have had over there. We were staying in the prefecture of Kobe, which is a lot more rural than a lot of the other areas like Tokyo and Osaka and all that.
Japan also has a very interesting old case, like from the 1800s, a really old, cool UFO case that I've always wanted to do on the show. It's short and sweet, but it basically involves a woman appearing out of an acorn-shaped UFO at the ocean. There's some good stuff. Like, I really think, I don't know, I really want to look at, I should, for Saucerama, we should take a look at some like 40s and 50s cases out of Japan and see what's there.
Most definitely.
Yeah. It's a fascinating cultural melting pot of UFO stuff over there, and they have their own history with the topic, and I can't wait to see what they do with their government study with it.
I'm curious to see what their pilots are wearing, what kind of spacesuits. I mean, that's what I'm interested in.
I was gonna say their UFO pilots are cooler, and their
they probably got that Harajuku style. They're cooler.
Much cooler.
Harajuku.
All right, Ryan.
Harajuku. Damn.
You say
Almost had
Juku, I say Joku. You know, tomato.
What else is
Nihongo
coming
Hanashi.
down the Saucerama pipeline?
Well, I know you guys are in the world of Hollywood, so I thought I'd bring up this story, which really excites me. Steven Spielberg is coming out with an original UFO movie.
What?
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't hear about this.
he's going back to the source.
Yep.
No.
So this kind of broke not too long ago. Universal
shit.
Pictures and Amblin Entertainment are announcing a new movie directed by Steven Spielberg, set to be released in 2026.
Holy shit.
It's described as an event film, whatever that means. So it's going to be big. It's going up against, I think it's going to be going up against Avengers, Kang Dynasty.
Jeez Louise.
I know, right? So they're really hoping
know,
that this is going to be a big movie, whatever
A
it is.
lot of people don't realize Steven Spielberg is tied to one of the original cases of high strangeness, the Hopkinsville Goblin case out of Kentucky. He was fascinated by that case, so much so that he hired Oscar-winning screenwriter John Sayles to write a script based on that case. John Sayles did write that script. It became Night Skies. And from that, Gremlins and Critters and E.T. all sort of spawned.
I don't think
from
Critters spawned from it, but E.T. and Gremlin did.
Everything. If you read Night Skies, which I have, you will see that there's elements of Critters in there as well. Now, the story goes, legend has it,
But
it was
I just meant
Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg didn't make Critters.
No, I know, but everything was inspired by that Hopkinsville Goblin case and John Sayles' script. Now, apparently, as the story goes, Spielberg was on set of Raiders with his producing partner, Kathleen Kennedy, and they were reading over the Sayles script together, and when they went to the end, Kathleen Kennedy's crying, and he's like, "Why are you crying?" And he's like, "I don't want that alien to leave that little boy." And he went, "Oh, that's the movie." And he's like... And he was like, holy shit. And he had the aha moment. He's like, I'm not doing another conflict film. I'm rewriting this. The script never got made. And, he hired Rick Baker to do the alien for that for about $1 million. And Rick Baker went to fucking work on that alien that's supposed to look like the Kentucky Goblin. Well, Spielberg pulled the rug right out from underneath him and goes, hey, yeah, we're not doing that picture anymore. But we're kind of going to make this other thing where he's a friendly alien. And Rick Baker's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I've been working on this fucking thing forever. And so Spielberg goes, well, you're fired. We'll get another guy to finish it. And they basically turned his frown upside down, and you get E.T. You can look this shit up online and see Rick Baker's original alien. So Spielberg has been wanting to get into the UFO thing. Well, he's done it before, obviously.
I was going to say, he's very well established.
Yeah,
He's trying to break in.
He's a
he's done a
newbie,
few.
yeah.
But I just thought that was really interesting.
That is fascinating. Well, and the exciting thing about this is it's going to be written. He's working with a writer he's worked with twice now on his movies. It's going to be the
David
writer
Cope.
of Jurassic Park, and then one
He
of the
did
other
Crystal
movies.
Skull. He also did
did?
Crystal Skull. Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
So
I loved
he's going to be
Crystal
writing
Skull.
the
A lot of
screenplay.
people didn't.
I loved
yeah.
his.
I didn't like
I
it.
did too.
Listen.
Okay, so here's Rick Baker's Goblin for Night Skies.
Oh,
He looks like an
whoa.
evil E.T.
He
That
really does
looks
look
like the
Shadow
fire in the
ET.
sky alien.
Now,
Yes.
and then basically, the guy they really hired after he was fired, did that to his caricature, and there
Here
you
we
have
go.
ET.
Still scary looking.
Still,
Yeah.
I know, shriveled up prune. I know, man.
Yeah.
There's two theories so far of what the movie could be. Do you want to know what they are?
Obviously.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So obviously this is all speculation. I have no in with Spielberg. I wish I could say I did. But the first theory is that it could be something to do with the life and work of Diana Pasulka, who I'm sure you guys are quite familiar with.
For sure.
And her work looking into religion and technology and UFOs and all these like tech
got it.
billionaires she talked to and going to the
It's-
Vatican and stuff like that.
You know what it is? It's what Tom Hanks and Ron Howard did for Dante's Inferno. What's it called?
Are you talking about the The Dan Brown book?
Dan
Brown books. Yeah.
What is it called? The original one?
Oh my gosh.
It's the one with Da Vinci,
I've read it.
the Da
So
Vinci
good.
Code.
Da Vinci Code.
The Da Vinci Code. They'll do that with Pasulka's work because she's a real life academia, and they can explore UFOs through the lens of that. So I could totally see this happening.
Yeah. So that's the number 2 theory. The number
You've
1
interviewed
theory.
her, right, Ryan?
Several
Yes.
times. She actually wrote the foreword to my last book, so I'm really
That's
pulling
right.
for her.
Wow.
Again,
Damn.
I don't have any insider information. She
Trying to
hasn't
get her on
told
the
me anything about
podcast.
it.
Yeah.
I know. We'll get her on, man.
We'll get her
on for you.
So what's your
She's-
second theory? I hope it's that first one. She's great.
So the second theory is Tom DeLonge. His Secret Machines book series is currently up for option with several movie studios, and they want to make those books into a possible movie event. So
Yeah,
some people
but
think
you
this
know-
could be Secret Machines.
Isn't that what the whole To the Academy of Stars was all about? Tom DeLonge, and it's going to end with films, and it's like,
Yeah.
So would he really hand that over to Spielberg? And would Spielberg really
I
want to
would.
like?
In a heartbeat.
Spielberg?
But no, but hold on.
Yes.
But hold on. But the better thought is, do you think Spielberg would actually sort of pluck that from Tom DeLonge's tree?
More of that
Or would
for
he-
me.
You know what I mean? Or would he be like, I'm not. I'll get my idea elsewhere. You know?
From what
I
I,
don't know.
heard and what I hope is this is going to be something that Spielberg has come up with that's like a story that's important to him. That's something like more in line with E.T. or Close Encounters. Because obviously War of the Worlds, that was based on it was a modernization of the classic sci-fi novel. So I'm hoping he kind of he goes back to his original thing and comes up with a new narrative that's based on this stuff. I could see him doing something involving these modern day fighter pilots and the Tic Tac UFO stuff. Like I could see him being inspired and doing something there and looking at what the story is there, a modern Close Encounters. I think would be really cool.
A lot of people think Spielberg was an insider and that he was sort of being fed inside information just because Close Encounters was just too close to actual case documentation. I don't know, man. What do you guys think?
Well, when they say insider information, like insider from who? Any theories on that?
Yeah, like people like obviously on sets like this, you have you're reaching out for inside information to like sources to get like your stories right, your details right. So especially in government agencies. So maybe there's
I
don't
thought
know.
the rumor was that he had seen the footage of Eisenhower meeting aliens at that Air Force base.
Maybe
back
that's
in
it.
the
I like that.
50s,
Let's go
and
with
that's
Michael's
what they
rumor.
were recreating.
That could be it.
I don't think that's true. I think he's just a gifted filmmaker.
Right.
But I think this story, I get the impression, if anything, if I were to theorize anything, that maybe he or people that he knows have had some type of contact experiences, and he's making these movies because he's kind of a true believer in
That
this
makes
stuff.
sense.
Well, and I mean, you can't also forget that J. Allen Hynek worked on Close Encounters of the Third
I know, I
Kind.
love
That's
it.
what I meant.
You know?
That's what I
That's
meant.
He showed
yeah.
up.
So maybe,
Yeah.
right. So, and remember, he was bitten by a shark when he was a boy too. So that had a profound effect on him as well.
There you go. He was bitten by everything he's ever made a movie about.
That's true. Yeah.
A World War II guy bit him.
That's
Bit him.
right.
Oh, yep.
That's
You
right.
know?
Cute little
Shark bit
alien,
him.
kind of scary.
Cute little
Bit him.
alien bit him.
Love it.
Some spies, some World War II spies. A horse bit him once.
Yes. Oh God, that horse bite almost killed him.
What was the horse movie? I'm
War
forgetting. that one.
Horse.
Oh, there we go. There we
Everyone's
go.
favorite Steven Spielberg movie. A man who was stranded in a terminal for a long time bit him. It goes on and on. He's been bitten
something
more
you
than
don't hear every day.
any
God, I love War
filmmaker.
Horse.
This guy.
Matt
Yeah.
Damon, not Matt Damon. Who am I thinking of?
Matt
Leonardo
Damon bit him.
DiCaprio.
Yeah, no, Matt
Yeah.
Damon bit him.
A teenage boy who was a con artist bit him as well.
Yep,
Yeah. I'm telling you, he's had a weird life. All right, let's get into some of the Saucerama stuff that I want to talk about with you. Here's the thing. So coming up in a lot of my, researching this era, the name Project Sign comes up a lot. And I don't think I was too familiar with Project Sign. Project Sign, from what I understand, and maybe you can help me fill in the blanks, Ryan. I know a lot of this is coming off the top of your dome, but Project Sign was a precursor to Project Blue Book. At one point, it was called Project Saucer, which I wish they had kept because it's such a fun name.
Yeah.
But it was basically the military or the government, help me here, their first attempt to catalog, research, study, and come up with conventional explanations for these newfangled things called flying saucers that people were seeing in the beginning in the late 1940s.
Correct. So, I mean, look at what was going on at the time. You had the Maytel incident, which I know you guys have covered, where literally a pilot crashed and died after trying to chase a UFO. And then after that, you had the famous flying saucer thing happen with Kenneth Arnold. And then you had the Roswell incident, all within the span of like a year and a half. These crazy things were being seen in the skies. And the United States, they weren't even the Air Force yet, I don't believe. I think they were called like the Army Air Corps or something like that. Yeah.
I think the Air Force came pretty quickly after Roswell. I want to say that they transitioned. Let me
not
look
a
up. Maybe
coincidence. Not a coincidence.
Air Force
I feel.
name. Yeah, I think it was in the U.S. Army Air Service, and then the U.S. Army Air Corps, and then the Army Air Forces, and then I think it just became the U.S. Air Force after 1947, like late 47.
That is not a coincidence, I'm telling you. But what happened was they said, okay, like there are clearly things in our skies that aren't supposed to be there. The public is seeing these things, reporting these things. We got to do something about it. And this was the OG government-funded UFO study, and that was Project Sign, Project Saucer. And you know, it basically, I'll give you kind of a brief rundown. It was undertaken it was most active in 1948, and the goal of Sign was to collect, evaluate, and distribute within the government all info relating to UFO sightings on the premise that they might represent a national security concern, which is literally the same as every government-funded UFO project since. That is the main concern, as it should be. What's interesting is in 1949, after Project Sign was kind of in motion and they were sort of doing their thing, the Air Force publicly released a paper that stated that while some UFOs appeared to represent actual aircraft, there was not enough data to determine their origin. The report recommended a continuation of the investigation, and this would formally be be Project Grudge, which is my favorite time within
Grudge
all
is cool
of this.
too.
I love the name. And
it
was
very G.I. Joe.
Yeah, right? Very raw. And if you guys haven't, go back in the archives at Somewhere in the Skies, because Bryce Johnson actually is the main character in my episode based solely on Project Grudge and the work of Edward Ruppelt, who was in charge of Project Grudge. Once Sign dissolved and became Grudge, they hired this new guy with tons of experience to head it. And so you can hear Bryce voicing a hero of mine, actually, which is Edward Ruppelt.
Tell me more about Edward Ruppelt. And Bryce, if you want to, color this with some of your emotional feelings about how his life was and his career, please do.
Yeah.
Give us the actor's perspective, of course. But what made him so cool, and what drew you to Project Grudge as a research topic?
Sure. Well, my notes for Bryce as his director for that, I guess, was make it sound cool. And he did. He knocked it out of the park, man. He absolutely did. Well, I mean, this was just a no frills sort of guy, Air Force. He had worked on many things. He was mostly working on stuff during the Cold War at the time, and Russian spy technology, this, that. And they brought him in to work on Project Grudge, and he immediately was ready to go in super skeptical and debunk everything and put this project to rest. And as later people like J. Allen Hynek, who would help with Project Blue Book, discovered, it's not that easy. you can explain away a large percentage of UFOs as prosaic or conventional. But even Edward Ruppelt came out of this being like, there's something to this. And actually, one of the most interesting things about Project Sign and then eventually Grudge was Project Sign. It was first asserted in a book written by Edward Ruppelt that the early days were well known. Ruppelt claimed that the Project Sign had produced an estimate of the situation, and which endorsed an interplanetary explanation for UFOs.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
So they actually came to the conclusion that some of this very well could be aliens. And immediately their superiors were like, you're not saying that. You are not saying that.
We like
No,
your
it's
report
not.
except that last part. Let's clean that up.
Get rid of that last paragraph.
It's crazy because, I mean, the stuff that I'm realizing reading about these years is obviously you have a lot more young men in their 20s, early to mid 20s who can fly planes because they've just come back from World War II. And so they really do have an Air Force that they can build off a generation of young new pilots. And I wonder how much of this also comes from stuff that they saw during World War II. We obviously know about Foo Fighters and weird airships that they would see. And then how much is it this Cold War paranoia that's coming in, that really the paranoia games that start playing with the Men in Black stuff that starts happening at the same time. There's this, we realize talking about the Mantell incident that as soon as you have UFOs, you have government cover-ups, you have government agencies investigating these things, and then you have the paranoid aspect of it, that there's something sinister happening here that's messing with people's minds.
Absolutely. And what always fascinates me is you go to Project Saucer, Sign, Grudge, Blue Book, all of it, and then you look at what's going on today in the world of UFOs with ATIP and now Arrow and everything moving forward, and they mirror one another almost to the word, almost to the term. A lot of people think the term UAP is brand new and that it was just being used in the past few years. No, the UAP term had been used for a very long time, actually, even dating back to the 50s and 60s at one point. So
I saw it in some references to cases in the 1950s and was surprised by that.
Yeah. So it's just nothing changes. It's all about paranoia. Today, in today's world, it's drones and tapping phones and using data on people. Where back then it was literally like spy balloons or literal spies coming into your country and masking themselves as U.S. citizens. And UFOs have always been built on the backs of paranoia, in my personal opinion. And there seems to be good reason. We still don't know what UFOs are.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Bryce, I think you mentioned it a week or two ago when we were talking about Bigfoot and how like Bigfoot sort of inspires this sense of getting in touch with nature and a sense of like independence and stepping away from society and being inspired. And then like UFOs really, they can inspire like what the future can bring, but I really feel like they're seeds of distrust.
We bring the room down at any party, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah. It's the tin foil hat, effect.
Yeah.
Right.
And why
Bigfoot's
is it
the wiser?
Yeah. But why is it this? Why does it have to be either it's a message of peace coming from an advanced civilization, or it's this sinister thing that like I don't know what the strange mirror that we're holding up to ourselves with the UFO phenomenon is interesting.
Well, I think we often fear the unknown, and the future represents that. We can look to the past, is what I think Bigfoot represents, and we can sort of see where we've been, and we can romanticize it and refantasize it and say, oh, maybe we took a wrong step here, and if we were more like that. Now, when it comes to the UFO and these light ships and and the idea of interplanetary travel and stuff, then we get scared. We say, well, what does that mean for us? I mean, are we to leave our home? And then who are these other people that are higher intelligence than us? Does that mean we're not the apex species of our solar system? What's going on? And so fear ensues. And then, and once fear has got its grip on you, then so can take hold conspiracy and paranoia and all of its other festering tentacles. I think that's why, whereas Bigfoot, man, he's like, I've been there. I'm just a man of the forest,
We do,
I'm chill. I eat my mushrooms and I keep away from people, man.
Just leave me alone. It's all
weird,
good.
Man.
Ryan, how much of this stuff? I think that's actually very well said, Bryce. How much of Project Sign, Project Grudge in these early years? These were top secret programs, correct? These weren't things that the general public knew about.
No, not until Project Blue Book, which was a very public study for the sole reason that it was meant to dissuade the public in ever looking at UFOs again and make everyone look crazy, explain everything, get this astronomer to come in and explain away everything, J. Allen Hynek, which eventually he could not do. Now, Grudge and Sign were very top secret at the time. I mean, again, we're talking, the Cold War and a lot of that was going on. So it makes sense. I totally understand that.
Those were more internal investigations, the military and the government going, what's going on inside of our borders and above our in our skies.
Nobody even knew about Sign or Grudge until Ruppelt came out with a book in 1956, going through every case that they looked at during Sign and Grudge, and came out on the other side, kind of like Hynek, being like, there's something to this that we don't believe comes from here. So yeah. If that says everything to me, that someone like Edward Ruppelt, who again was hired to debunk it, could not.
Mm-hmm. I always love when and listen, we have. I want to get this straight. I have nothing wrong with being skeptical. Skeptical is so healthy, right? But it's this like aim to debunk that is unhealthy, right? So guys that are coming in that are skeptical, like, I'm going to take a look at this thing. I'm going to get to the bottom. And I think Ruppelt was like that. Like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this UFO thing. He's an Air Force guy. He's a plane man. He's like, let's see what's out there. I hear from my pilots. And then when you start to get into the weeds of it, you're like, okay. If you're an open-minded person, if you're ready to receive new data, like I'm sure he was, then you're going, hey, this doesn't add up. You know what I mean? And those make the best sort of people who come forward with their testimony or stories because they've been to the other side. They're like, I've looked at this thing from the other angle and I've come around, man. I've seen it on the other side, and I think that's good science. You can be skeptical, but be open-minded, And I think Ruppelt was, along with Hynek.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I mean, that was really just like a great defense of science right there, Bryce.
I'm a science man. I know I love to give science a hard time, but that's only when they get stuck and rigid. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing.
Move beyond the material world and we can talk.
Yeah, it's if you're trying to prove your theory rather than actually testing the situation that the theory is based on, then you're sort of missing the point.
The listeners know this, the guys know this, but I'm rewatching all of the X-Files currently, which is, turns out it's perfect for Wet Hot Alien Summer 3. And I'm watching them for the first time with my fiance has never seen the series before. And she keeps going like, oh, Scully still doesn't believe in this stuff, and I'm like, it's not that Scully doesn't believe. Her mind is actually getting more and more open, but she even had a quote in a recent episode that we watched from, I believe, season 2, towards the end of season 2. She's like, the fact that I've seen stuff that I cannot explain only drives me further to find a scientific explanation behind the phenomenon that I am witnessing. I'm paraphrasing it there.
No,
but that
this is like Dr. Maria Mayer on Expedition Bigfoot
exactly.
when she confronts high strangeness. She says something took place there. And I love that because, she's a scientist through and through, but she's saying, I'm receiving new data that's, sort of jolting my foundation a little bit. Don't know what it is, but something's there, and hey, be open to it,
Great. All right. Well, Ryan, I think we have a little bit of time here. I thought it would be fun to test your knowledge of UFOs and UFO lore against Bryce and Riley's.
Oh boy, quiz
Okay.
show.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
man.
time
Spot.
for another round. We haven't done this in a while for Mystery Quizztery UFO Saucerama edition. I pulled all these questions from the Conspiracy Theory game, which we love, by Netty Games. Not a sponsor. Come over and sponsor us, guys. We love your game. So I've divided these into 3 categories.
Okay.
There's we're gonna go in order from Little Gray to, that's the easiest round. The second round will be Tall Gray, and
Okay.
then the last round will be Manted. Okay, that'll be the most difficult questions.
Awesome.
All right.
So I
I'm
believe
glad.
guest.
You know what? I'm glad we got Ryan at a disadvantage. He's still in wrestling brain, so we'll take.
Yeah.
We'll
see how
I
it
got my
goes.
lizard brain right now. Yeah.
I think guest goes first. If guest misses it, then
He won't.
Bryce or Riley can buzz in to answer.
Okay.
If nobody gets it, we move on. Okay?
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Ryan, we are in the Little Gray category here. Here we go. The 1947 UFO sightings by Harold Dahl was the first reported encounter with what secret group? A, the Majestic 12, B, the Illuminati, C, the Men in Black, or D, the Jackson 5?
Love it. I love it. I love that they brought up Majestic 12. That's pretty deep cut there. I'm gonna have to go with the Men in Black. I love that case, the Harold Dahl case.
That is correct. We have 1 point for
Look at
Ryan
him go.
Sprague on the board. Now, remember,
If
these
I
are
got
kind
that
of easy
wrong,
ones.
like cut me off.
We got our
now.
work cut out for us, Riley.
Okay, 1 point for Ryan. Here we go over to Riley Bray.
Okay.
Here we go. What were the names of the married couple taken together in one of the most famous alien abduction cases?
Wait,
Was
when
it-
you said that, I thought you were like coupling our name together like they do. Now I just got it. Briley would make a great couple's
Briley.
name for us.
I've called both of you that many times.
That's true.
My brain can't handle the Rye and the
yeah.
Bry, and that's why
Yeah.
I'm constantly calling you guys by the wrong name.
I love it. Go
My
forward.
mom when she
sir.
gets
Sorry.
mad.
What were the names of the married couple taken together in one of the most famous alien abduction cases? Was it A, Betty and Barney Hill?
Yes.
B, okay, great. You got that point.
Ding ding.
Riley, 1.
Stop
Riley.
there. Save time.
Okay,
Let's keep it tight.
Bryce.
I almost want to know what the other choices were.
I kind of do too. I regret my
It
decision.
was
I
Janet
was
Jackson
really
and Michael
impulsive.
Jackson.
It was, they're pretty stupid. Betty and Barney Rubble, Fred and Ethel Mertz, Ed and Trixie Norton.
Okay.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
Bryce, where do our reptilian overlords come from? A, Andromeda. B, the
Draco.
Draconian Galaxy.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great. You all got one.
Little Grays.
We all got little
The
Grays.
Dracos.
Dracos.
Dracos. Okay.
Dracos.
Moving on to round 2, the Tall Grays. This is for Mr. Ryan Sprague. What famous footage of a UFO encounter was recorded by the U.S. Navy in 2004 just off the coast of San Diego?
Oh, geez.
That would be the Nimitz encounter. The
That's
TikTok.
correct.
Wow.
By the
We
way,
didn't even need the choices.
I'm not giving you guys choices for this round. I forgot to tell you. So there you
Oh,
go.
wow. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. That's
Nice.
Sheesh.
Nice.
All right. Riley.
Oh boy.
People. Oof. Okay.
That's not a good sign.
Mm-mm.
Think back to episodes of the past. People
Just what
who-
our producer wants to do.
People who have
Relive it.
people who have encountered the humanoid alien entity named Indrid Cold commonly refer to him as what?
I mean, I know what you're talking about with Indrid Cold, but refer to him as
He's a type of being, and people will I'll give you a hint. Like if you had like a superhero name, they might call him this, or a supervillain name.
Oh, like the other. Okay. Oh. I remember that this exists. I just don't
Okay.
remember what it is. Ryan knows.
Wait, anybody else? Okay, who else wants to buzz in?
I'll buzz in.
Okay,
All right,
Bryce.
take it.
The Smiling Man.
Oof, so close.
The Grinning Man?
So close.
The grinning man, Riley.
Yes.
You know what? We're going to give it to
assist.
Riley.
Give it to him.
All right.
I'll give him a
I
half
only knew
point.
You know
that, Mike, because I did an article on Injured Cold literally 3 days ago. So
wow,
synchronicity
wow.
at its best.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay, Bryce.
Yes.
Name the Venusian that met with President Eisenhower and Vice President Nixon in 1957.
Oh no, the Venusian that met with.
Oh, I know.
You know
that's
this one.
not.
I know which
That's not
story this
Thor.
is.
The Valiant Thor, is it?
It is.
No.
You are correct.
Okay.
It's the
Nice.
Val Valiant Thor. I'll take Valiant Thor.
Yeah.
Best
All
band name ever.
Okay.
It really
Ryan,
is.
Totally.
one more in this round for you. An attempt to pull ahead. Where did U.S. President Richard Nixon hide a time capsule containing documentation of alien contact?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Where did he hide the time
Where
capsule?
did he hide a time
know
capsule
this.
containing documentation of alien contact?
The Watergate Towers. No.
I'm going to go with somewhere in the desert, like Palm Springs or something.
That tracks.
But I don't think I'm right.
You
Just by the look on your face.
Incorrect. Incorrect.
Okay.
Does anybody else want to buzz in?
I've heard this story, and
Bryce.
and I don't have the answer, but I want to say like the White House basement. It's
Bryce,
something
you
like
are
that.
correct. It is
Wow.
the White House.
I've
You
never
get
heard
1
that.
point.
Wow.
That is
That's so
crazy.
Okay,
I
now
love the
we're
idea of Richard Nixon burying a time capsule, though, too.
cool. Yeah.
Out there with a shovel, like,
That's something I would do in the White House backyard.
Yeah.
Turn that White House backyard into my sacred space. I'm digging stuff up and naked out here.
yeah, just
man.
butt naked moonlight.
I just love how he didn't have to go far. Like, come on, dude. You couldn't even leave the premises.
he just flushed it down the toilet.
They'll get it sometime.
Okay, here we go. We are moving on
Dracos.
to the manted round. Let's
Manted
see.
round.
I think we're going to kick this off with Bryce. During his time working at Sandia Labs, Emery Smith discovered that extraterrestrial spacecrafts were made of what material?
I'm not registering any of those names. Sandia Labs?
Yeah, Sandia Labs, Emery Smith discovered that extraterrestrial spacecrafts were made of what material? We have not
man.
covered this on the show.
Don't know Emery Smith. Don't know Sandia Labs. I'm going to say aluminum foil.
Incorrect. Does anybody else want to take a wild swing at this one? What could alien spacecrafts be made of?
Non-Earth materials.
Be more specific, Riley, for buzzing in.
Oh, okay. So I was just going for a vague kind of
No, it's a very specific.
I got another guess. Can I guess again?
Not yet.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
you got to
Okay,
let
not
Riley
yet,
and
not yet.
Ryan buzz in.
I got to guess again after
It's a
Bryce
total
guessed.
guess.
Okay, what is it?
Silicon? Silicon?
No.
That's a good guess. Oh my gosh. Moon dust. I don't know.
Oh, no, unless that's a nickname
Petroleum
for alien
jelly.
DNA. Alien DNA.
What?
Interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's the biological explanation, for what UFOs might be.
Okay. Nice.
Okay.
I love that.
Do you
That's why
guys need?
that makes sense.
Should I give you guys multiple choices on these manted ones? Do you guys need that back?
No, we like
We'll
keep
see.
it hard.
Let's-
Yeah.
We're having fun.
Yeah, this is great.
Michael's paranormal quiz show.
Right.
I'm
Like
over here
tread-
like, yes, please give me the choices.
No,
I'm
you're
going to
fine. We like
lose my
treading water.
UFO badge if I don't.
Mine's
Okay, Ryan.
long been revoked.
After meeting with U.S. President Eisenhower in 1957, where did the Venusian visitors park their spacecraft? Where did Valiant Thor park his
talked
spacecraft?
about
It
this.
hung out there for a while, like a whole summer.
Ooh.
And people said you could walk right up to it and go hang out with Valiant Thor.
Interesting.
If you want a hint, I can give you. If you guys want hints, I'll allow hints.
I like hints.
I'll take a hint if that's
I
okay.
have a guess, but I think it's wrong.
It's named after. It's a type of body of water. I'll say.
Okay. Type of body of water.
Pond?
Um,
Washington Pond?
I think I know this one.
Bryce is in the not close, but he's in the ballpark.
Okay.
Washington
okay.
Mall?
I
Yeah,
need
I
someone to
wanna
officially
say-
buzz in if Ryan
right,
can't get this.
right.
It's Ryan's first, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Right.
Oh my God, I got nothing. I have
It's a
no
toughie.
idea.
It's a manted round. Riley, you want to buzz in?
Didn't he fly out to Palm Springs or Desert Hot Springs? Or
Yeah,
something
that's
like
what I
that?
thought.
Close, but that's
Buzz,
not.
buzz, buzz.
Yes,
Wasn't
Bryce.
it supposed to be the Toronto steeple? Isn't there a steeple that people say it's a UFO or something?
What?
It's
Something
not. The
silly
answer
like
I was
that.
looking for was Lake Mead.
Lake Mead.
Oh,
I
Lake
never
outside
would've gotten
Vegas.
that.
I was
Okay.
picturing Vegas.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
that's
switch back
Edit
to
that whole question
multiple
out,
choice.
Riley.
I won't. The people deserve the truth.
Riley, what
Yeah.
structures found both on Earth and Mars suggest that extraterrestrials helped in the development of Japan's civilization? All right, I'm going to
curveball.
give you multiple choice here because it's hard.
Maybe
Is
like
it A, step pyramids, B, Shinto shrines, C, keyhole-shaped tombs, or B, Fujiko stone circles?
All great answers.
yeah. I mean, I was gonna guess some sort of shrine or something like it, but what was the last one?
Fujiko stone circles.
Fujiko stone circles. I mean, I feel like that one's a red herring because they're just like put in a Japanese word or at least sounding word. But also stone circles seems like that would be like something that you may see on Mars and then read into it, or maybe who knows, maybe it's all real. But step pyramids, I don't think there are any step pyramids in Japan that I know of. Let's go with the last one.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect.
I knew it. I
It's
knew
not
it was a
stone
trap.
circles.
I
Who
knew
else
it
wants
was
to
a
buzz
trap.
in and try this one?
Well, I do.
Bryce.
I mean, it was the pyramid on Mars, right? The pyramid with the face. And then, so I'm going to go step pyramids because they're found all over the world.
Incorrect.
Oh.
So we are left with Shinto shrines and keyhole-shaped tombs. Ryan Sprague, what do you got?
I feel like the shrine is too obvious too, so I'm gonna go with the keyhole thing.
You are correct. It is the
Wow.
keyhole-shaped
Nice.
tombs.
Okay.
Nice, Sprague.
All right, now we're going to go to
Interesting.
one last question. Riley, you're out of the game. I'm sorry. We have a tie
What else
between
is new?
Ryan and Bryce. This is for the game.
Wah, wah.
What principle, buzz in if you know, okay?
Oh, okay.
What principle, according to a 1981 interview with the Spirit of Ra, dictates that all people in the galaxy must basically look like humans? Yes.
Buzz. The principle of one.
I will give it to you. It's the law of one.
Law of
It's
one.
close
Nice.
enough.
Law of
Yes,
one.
very good. All right, Bryce. Wow.
Wow, the reigning champ.
Steamrolled
Well
right over our
deserved.
guest.
Home
Yet
turf.
again.
Good
Home turf.
host.
Yet again.
What a good co-host.
Well, it was nice knowing you guys.
Ryan,
Great year at summer camp.
where can people find your work? Where can people listen to the new podcast? Do you have any new TV things that you're working on? Anything you want to plug? Let us know.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
all.
thanks,
This
man.
game was all predetermined, brother. But every second in between was real.
Off the top rope. All right. Yes, I have a wrestling podcast. You can check it out. It's Somewhere in the Ring. So you can get it wherever you get Bigfoot Collectors Club and Somewhere in the Sky. So doing that every week. Other than that, I'm on the current and upcoming seasons of Ancient Aliens on the History Channel.
Killer.
Yeah, I love working with them. They're a great group. But my big thing right now, I kind of hung up my ufology boots, and I'm actually ghost hunting in Nova Scotia.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
So
Okay,
I just
great.
filmed 2 seasons of a show called Haunted in Canada, and we are going to be filming our next season, the 13th. Unlucky number 13th season in September. So
Rad.
it's so cool, man. It's refreshing. Like it's a world I never thought I'd see myself in.
So Ryan, I gotta ask. Obviously you're welcome back here every summer, but are you taking a break from UFOs? Is Somewhere in the Sky still going? Are you on hiatus? Are you moving on?
We're still chugging every week. I have brand new episodes of Summer in the Skies every week. I'm doing a lot more storytelling. As you know, Bryce was a part of an episode. I'm gonna rope both of you in as well at some point.
We'll see about that. You got to catch me first.
That's true. That's true. So I love doing those. Less interviews nowadays, more storytelling, which I'm really, really enjoying a lot of. So Somewhere in the Skies is every week as well. And I think that's it. If any of your listeners are in the Ohio area, I'm going to be speaking at an event called Monster Fest in
Cool.
June 28th and June 29th. So again, I don't know.
Perfect.
If this would
That's
be...
right
fans
after
love
this
monsters.
comes out.
Oh,
So that's
awesome.
perfect. This will drop
Yeah.
on the 19th of June.
Great.
Perfect.
And our fans
Yeah, so
can't
if
see it, but
anyone,
I can. You're wearing a killer shirt, dude.
Oh, thank
somewhere
you.
in the
Yeah,
ring.
get
Look
that
at
somewhere
that.
in the ring
That's
merch.
badass.
Love it.
So
That's
always
great,
staying
man.
busy. Yep.
Love it, Ryan.
You
Thank you so
are,
much.
yeah.
Always a pleasure, man. You're
Appreciate
welcome back
you, man.
anytime.
Love you guys. Thank you so much. I look forward to this, like I said, every single summer. So good luck with the rest of your summer. And I'll see you on the bus next summer, I guess.
Right on.
Yeah, we'll get to the bottom of this UFO thing for you, Ryan. Don't
Please
you worry.
do. Please
Yeah,
do.
we got
Have
it.
a good
Someone's
fall.
got to do it.
Huge thanks to Ryan Sprague. One more time, Ryan. We
Wow.
love that guy.
The best.
All
The
right.
best.
Before we head over to Collector's Corner, let's thank some Club Scouts who have recently joined us over on BCC The Other Side. It's time for some Patreon shout-outs.
Woohoo!
Angie,
Thanks, Angie.
Sandra Elfson,
Thank you, Sandra.
Elifson, thank you. Ian Holohan,
Thanks, Ian.
Dr. Claw,
Thank you, Dr. Claw.
KV,
Thank you, KV.
James Walker, Cosmeteer,
Oh, thanks, James. Welcome.
Scarlett,
Thanks, Scarlett.
Lewis Longest,
Thank you, Lewis.
Jordan,
Thanks, Jordan.
Zarantha Archie, Cosmeteer,
Thank you, Zarantha Archie, and welcome.
Zamia.
Thank you, Jamzilla or Zamia or
Jamzilla.
Jamzilla.
Sorry.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
a real. Hold on. You know what
that.
helps if I put my
Jamzilla.
reading glasses on while I do this?
Hey,
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Jamzilla. What up?
Jamzilla. Thank you. Nico Dragon.
Thanks, Nico Dragon.
Bobby Fisher.
Thanks, Bobby.
Play on Bobby Fisher.
Yeah, I was like, searching for.
Your
Tia.
move, Bobby.
Thanks,
Tia, thank you. And finally, our favorite name of the week, Mothman Lover 2003, Cosmeteer.
There you go.
Join
Great
us
activity,
over.
great year.
Yeah. Join us over at patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub and unlock total access to BCC with 3 bonus eps every month, access to the entire exclusive episode archives, the BCC Discord, and more. You can upgrade to the Cosmeteer membership to unlock 3 music tracks from super producer Riley every month and ad-free episodes like this one as they drop in real time on Wednesdays. All right, It's time to stop by the Collector's Corner. I want to plug one more time the TeePublic shop. Go check out. Go pick up your Wet Hot Alien Summer 3 shirt. They will be gone at the end of the summer, so get that now. I told you I'm in the thick of X-Files, but by the time this drops, I'm sure I will be very much into the new Star Wars show, The Acolyte. I can't wait for that. So that's going to be my little Collector's Corner pick right now. And as we get into that show, I'll talk more about it, but I'm very much looking forward to that. Bryce, what are you into right now?
Not much, man. Just collecting them gains, hitting them gyms. Yoked alchemy. That's about it.
You got to tell
Are you
us.
working out every day?
Pretty much, yeah. I love it. I can't get enough.
Can you give
of
us
it.
a little, just like a little peek, a little window? Like, what are you doing? How are you achieving these results?
Oh, I just bodybuilding, just weightlifting.
So
I'm
it's
just-
weightlifting?
Yeah,
You do it at the
hitting
house?
the weights,
Do you have
man.
like a
hitting
bench
the
at your
weights,
house?
drinking those protein shakes and
he froze.
creatine
Froze
and
again.
just
He's
getting
too
after
buff.
Oh, he's getting after. He's too buff.
going
His
back.
his buffness is
You're-
screwing up his
Yeah,
buffering.
the bandwidth couldn't hold your muscles.
it. I'm substituting emotional pain with physical pain.
I
Oh,
wish
great.
I could. I wish I could do that. I'm just eating lots
Stoicism.
of cookies.
I mean, if that's not the yin and the yang, you know.
God, I wish I was
of the human
I wish I
condition.
was the yin and not the yang, though. Riley, what do you got? Anything?
Oh man, honestly, I've just been so busy lately
Yeah.
trying to get
Collecting
everything
checks.
caught up. I wish I'm working on that. I haven't consumed any interesting media. You know what? I bought Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, and I read the first chapter. The other
Dude,
day.
I love
I'd
Philip
never-
K. Dick.
I do too, and I never read that book.
You would love it. I highly recommend. Well, we'll talk about it, but there's anything that he writes. But,
Yeah, I mean, I've always
That
loved him.
dude is
I
read
love the Valis
Ubik.
trilogy.
Ubik is wild, and you would, I think, particularly love Ubik.
Cool.
Have
I
we
just felt
done a
like it was
story of
good-
high strangeness on Philip Dick? I know we've talked a lot about him. I don't
No,
think
we've talked about it, but we
dedicated-
haven't done like
We
his
should do
whole-
a deep dive
Yeah,
on the whole
breakdown, yeah.
Valis
Okay.
thing and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really interesting. But
He's rad.
But yeah, that just seemed like a good. a good book for nowadays with AI and everything. And I was like, I just really also I'm trying to break the phone thing. So I'm just like, I have to put books around.
Yes.
So that when I reach for something, I'm like, oh, there's a book there, and then I'll read it. And so I'm trying to do that more, and it's it's a process.
I'm fighting that fight as well, my friend, as listeners know.
But I mean, first chapter, loved it. It's great.
Love it. Great.
Yeah.
I love it. I can't wait to see. You're gonna love Philip K. Dick. He's
I mean, I do. I've read a bunch of his other books. I just haven't read this one.
I got you.
I just because like Blade Runner is like it's like I was like, I should read the book that this is based on.
Yeah. No, good call. All right, we're crossing over to the other side where Saucerama will continue on. If we don't see you over there, we will see you back here next Wednesday for an all-new episode of BCC. Until then, good night.
And go get regressed. Bigfoot Collectors Club is executive produced by Michael McMillan, Riley Bray, and Bryce Johnson. Our show is engineered, produced, and scored by Riley Bray. Our theme song, Come Alone, is by Suneaters. Follow them on Spotify. Want more BCC? For exclusive full-length episodes every month and total access to the other side, check out patreon.com/BigfootCollectorsClub.